Start spreading the news.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
New York, I love you. I love New York.
What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Off the Ball podcast with me, your host, Chris LeBron. And on today's show, I got a special group of guys with me. As you can see, my guy, Kevo, the co-host of the Get a Bucket podcast with me. And I got the best tag team in the business, Dub and Fresh, the Hoopers in the building. What's going on, my guys?
What's the deal? Tag team champs of the world checking in.
We got a squad in it today, and we got a nice show for you guys. Obviously, you know, Kev's hype. His team is one win away from going to the NBA Finals, and even he knows he didn't think this was gonna happen. It's been a crazy run and all that. So we'll get into that. Talk about Jokic and his, where his legacy is with his tremendous run this postseason. The Lakers' future. LeBron James contemplated maybe retirement. It's crazy to think that we're getting close, to that. We're gonna have a little fun segment, Would You Rather, and then we're gonna talk about whatever they doing down in Texas. I mean, there's a bunch of Texas teams that just don't know what they're doing, but there's one in particular that I don't know. So we're gonna talk about that. Also talk about the Celtics and everything that's just going on. But let's dive into to the Lakers. Obviously, they were swept last night, and which was a great game, by the way, and was a good series for the most part, right? It was a sweep, but we got a competitive series, for the most part, and came down to the wire, but Denver took care of business and all that. Obviously, after the game, LeBron, looked like he, maybe contemplating retirement, gave us little hints, how he always does. He always plays these little games with us, but do you guys buy into any of this LeBron James maybe calling it quits while he's still on top of his game? Because we tend to see a lot of guys, and especially the NBA, you never leave on top, right? Usually guys, even Kobe, he had a great game to end, but that season wasn't the season we would expect, and most guys don't get the farewell season. Tim Duncan, Garnett, Dirk. I mean, Dirk looked like a shell of himself, all those guys. But LeBron is obviously he's a different animal. He's an all-NBA player, all-star again. Just went to his 20th year, all-time league scorer. So do you think LeBron should actually think about retirement? His sons, potentially could be a draft pick next season. We'll see how this development goes. But do you think that's something that is actually a realistic thing that could possibly happen, that we might have seen the last of LeBron James, in the NBA? Kevo, you go first, Kev.
I mean, it's a chance. He's 38. I assume he's gonna go home. I mean, he was clearly dealing with the injured left foot. I think he's injured in both foot or feet.
He was hurt. He was hurting.
I mean, at that age, you gotta contemplate it, right? But I don't think he is. I don't think he will. I just feel like, I mean, you're probably gonna have surgery this offseason. And if I'm him, I'm going through a surgery. I'm missing probably a good majority of next season, and I'm on my Kawhi. I'm gonna just low manage, because if the Lakers keep this core together, they could be a contender next year. If they keep Rui, Austin Reeves, you can let D'Lo bounce, but keep a couple of those other guys, they can be straight. You know what I'm saying? They can compete for a title next year, because the West is kind of, after Denver, the West is kind of wide open. You feel me? So, I mean, I don't think he will, bro. You have to contemplate it, because he's at the age. He's what, 38? Of course you have to consider it, but I don't think he will. LeBron's the type, he wants a farewell tour, bro. He's gonna tell us the year.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
He's not just gonna lead a game like that. He's gonna tell us, and then we're gonna have a whole farewell tour for him. So I think, again, he'll contemplate, he'll go home, talk to Savannah about it, whatever, but I don't think he'll go through with it.
When did Kobe announce before the season, or was that during the season when Kobe announced his retirement?
It was during.
It was during, right? Yeah, I remember it during. Yeah, so I think how LeBron is. He likes to shine on him. That. So I think that's something that could happen. Dub Fresh, what were you thinking about LeBron and potential retirement?
Yeah, remember Kobe? He did the sit down with Stephen A. That's what he kind of announced his. But I'm with Kev. Like he's gonna consider the fact that he's like been hurt so much recently. Like that's unusual. 38, Bronny about to go to college, and I wouldn't be surprised if like not that Carmelo's retirement caught him off surprise, but it's like dang, Melo gone, Wade is gone. I gotta start thinking about that. And but billionaires don't leave $100 million on the table, which he had. So, and NBA players, period, don't leave money on the table. So I definitely would expect next year for sure, but it's an option after next year. But I'm with y'all too. Like LeBron not walking away. We're gonna celebrate every game he plays. They're gonna
100%.
We're gonna know that he's going away. But I definitely could see him after that game thinking like, dang, it might be over. So.
No, for sure. And we got Ken joining us. Ken, we were just talking about LeBron and, contemplating retirement. And do you think that's a realistic thing that we might have seen him play his last game in the NBA?
No, I think the emotions are probably at an all-time low after a sweep. Like, let's just call it what it was. They got swept. And the guy that was supposed to be the number one was far too inconsistent throughout the postseason. And once again, last night, he needed him. He needed him in the third quarter in the worst way. And AD didn't show up after LeBron carried them on his back for the first half. And I think he's going to get asked about that pretty much any time he suits up now. Like, oh, is this going to be your last year? Like, we're starting to get to that point of LeBron's career. And I think he caught him at a low point last night. And he's going to be fine. He'll take the summer. And he's obviously got interests outside of basketball that he's going to focus on as well. But I'm not worried about him retiring yet.
Yeah, I think it's like Kev mentioned, he wants that farewell tour and all that. That's definitely gonna happen, and he deserves it too. Like he's going to go down as, if not the greatest, one of the top 4 greatest, 2 greatest players of all time league scorer. I mean, we can go on and on about all the accolades and all that. Even the haters are gonna miss him. Even his biggest haters. They ain't gonna have no one else to hate on when this man retires and all that. So, I think one more year. I think he got one more year in him. I think maybe Bronny's situation is going to, we'll see how he develops. I think we can't rush his process too. I know a lot of people want to do that. Kev, we talk about that a bunch on Get a Bucket, about his development. Like we just, we can't just assume that he's gonna be one and done. He's gonna go to USC and he might be the third guard right now. So there's no guarantee that that's just gonna happen. And so we'll see how this development goes. But I think one more year. I think he got one more good year, and then we see it. But we'll see what happens. But I don't think he's gonna retire. I think emotions got. But we need to start blaming AD though. Yeah, we need more. Like it's easy to go get on LeBron and all that, but like AD defensively, I think was solid. I think he's been solid all postseason. Maybe not this game, but he's had a good playoffs consistently. Offensively is just like he just hasn't been the guy that needed AD to take over. LeBron, like you said, he's 38, and we could use it as a good thing, but it's like the man's still 38. So with this Lakers team, obviously they got swept and all that, and at one point they were 3-10. Like they looked like it was they were in the Victor sweepstakes at one point, and then they made a big trade that changed the whole thing, and now they're in the conference final. So what do you think? Just give me a quick thing. Each of you guys, what do you think the Lakers need to do this offseason to make sure they get back and potentially LeBron James last season, in the NBA? Dove Fresh.
They need to get an elite playmaker. Like I think that killed them a lot. AD, for all the credit that his potential gets, not even being funny. AD gets a lot of credit for his potential, what he could do. He's top 5. He could potentially, it's a lot of potential.
Yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Anthony Davis is the greatest rim runner in NBA history. And that's just being honest. Like, I think we expect more of him than what his game is because he has the potential to hit jump shots. He has the potential to be a face-up monster. He has the potential to have these post moves. At this point, it's like there can't be any more potential at this point. And if D'Angelo Russell was a better playmaker, that would make Anthony Davis' life a lot easier. Yeah, you got Austin Reeves, who was a good playmaker for them all season and in the postseason. You got LeBron, who's one of the all-time greatest playmakers, but end of the year he's hurt, playing on 1 foot literally. Anthony Davis is never going to be aggressive enough as a one-on-one offensive threat to lead the Lakers to that problem. And they got to be looking for elite playmaking. I think Dame and Portland's going to both have to swallow this loyalty pride and just send them there. I know everybody likes the idea of Kyrie, but I don't want to see that again. I'm not going to lie. I don't have to see LeBron. I don't have to see the combination of LeBron, AD, and Kyrie. Because if you're talking superstar, you either gonna break up the team or you're gonna hope that y'all can catch this fire, this lightning in the bottle starting at the beginning of the season. So I'm all elite playmaking, like nothing else. Get elite playmaking, take pressure off LeBron as a playmaker. Elite playmaking, and that changed this whole team.
Yeah.
What about you, Fresh?
I'm with the same thing. You got to get elite playmaking. Somebody's gonna help take the load off of LeBron next year. I agree with what Kev started off with. Like, they have the core now. They got players that are there. AD's not going to take the load off LeBron like you expect. Kyrie's the easy name because Kyrie can opt out and he could be a free agent while you have to trade for Dame. But Kyrie, Dame, Fred VanVleet, you got to be able to market for one of those. Austin Reeves isn't going to be the player. He's not taking that next big step when we're dependent on him next year. So I'm with you on that.
Austin Reeves gonna want the bag.
He definitely wants the bag, especially they come out.
Undrafted. He earned it. And Kev, you were on him early. I seen some of your tweets where you were on him early in his, few years back and all that. And it's just kind of been crazy how we've seen the maturation. Like, regardless if you think he's that he's that important of a player, to see an undrafted dude have this much success and potentially get a 9-figure deal. I mean, that's respect. You got to give him respect and you got to give the Lakers credit for his development of him and LeBron trusting him. LeBron don't really trust young dudes like that, and for him to trust an undrafted dude of all people, like he didn't even trust Brandon Ingram when he had Brandon Ingram and all those young cats, Lonzo and all those cats, and he trusted an undrafted dude, in big time moments, to give him the rock, So
it's the play style, not the player. He likes his play style. LeBron likes players. You have to be able to create your own for LeBron to respect you, and that's what Austin Reeves did.
Well, Austin Reeves hid some big shots, and he showed like, hey, I deserve to be on the court with you, Bron, and definitely, and all that. Ken, is there any, what's your thoughts about, what they should do this offseason? Any moves?
I mean, most of their roster is off the books, so they're gonna have to make a number of moves this summer because guys like Rui are gonna be gone. You're gonna lose Lonnie Walker. You're gonna lose Schroeder. Like guys that were fairly decent contributors. Vanderbilt should be back by the looks of it. So there's gonna be a lot of decisions that have to be made, and quite frankly, it's going to start with LeBron. Like if he's being serious about retirement, then that completely changes all expectations for next season. It'll likely result in some moves being made more towards the tanking aspect. But I think it also will play a factor in the fact that if LeBron is back, who does he want to bring back for what could potentially be his last season? Because there's going to be a lot of those guys out there that he's been teammates with, he's been buddies with, that are going to be up for probably one last run with LeBron. So I agree with Hoopers. I definitely think that they need a guy that can facilitate. But, yeah, it shouldn't be Austin Reeves, let's face it. It shouldn't have been up to him to be the third option to go out and get buckets for this team. He did a great job of it. Like, he hit some big shots yesterday where it's like, Jesus Christ, that guy's in his bag. But it shouldn't have come down to Austin Reeves having to be that number 3. That's what D'Angelo Russell was supposed to be. And he got played off the court, and now he's going to be in a different location next year. So I'm interested by what they can do because there's a lot of names out there for sure this summer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they got a lot of free agents to figure out. LeBron, what he has to figure out, his decision. Is he going to rock with AD for another year? Because it feels like every time AD hits the floor, it's like catastrophic. Boy, just it's getting crazy and all that. And can LeBron rely on him and all that? But on the other side, Denver Nuggets are in the NBA Finals. the first time they've been to the NBA Finals. It's been a while. And before I go into that, former Denver Nuggets legend Carmelo Anthony retired and all that. So before I get into that, I want to show Melo some love and all that. Quick round, round the table. Your favorite Carmelo Anthony moment, from his illustrious career and all that. Kev?
60 in Miami, bro. Didn't even touch the paint. I mean, he was mid-range and killing us to death. I was like, God damn, watching that game. I'll never forget that. Like, he was cooking us. And my first NBA game, I actually watched him versus the Clippers when he was in Denver with AI. I'll never forget that either. I was like, I don't even remember. I was probably like 7 or 8. I'll never forget that. But definitely that game in Miami, he was torching us, bro. He literally had 60. He barely hit the free throw line. Damn near did not hit the paint whatsoever. So, I mean, that was one of the best shooting performances I ever seen personally.
Yep. Great. Legendary. Ken?
Honestly, it's not even one particular memory. I actually used to love getting up on Christmas Day watching Melo in New York. Like, because that game is usually the worst one of the day. It's the one that they throw, like, because back then, no offense, Chris, like it was the Knicks, and then you had
the Knicks.
You had but at the end of the day, like no one was getting up like excited to watch the Knicks play at that time, but he kicked it off in the right way, and so it was always you could lean on him on Christmas, and he had some good moments too. He hit some big shots in the Garden, and it kind of kicks off your holiday really well. So I just look forward to watching him Christmas.
Dub Fresh.
I gotta go. It wasn't their first game, but like one of their first biggest matchups with Melo and LeBron. When both of the teams was really good. Black jersey, he hit the game winner on LeBron at the end. He went right at him, mid-range, pull-up, straight cash money.
All right, full disclosure. Melo got to Syracuse my 8th grade year. Been my favorite player ever since him and Rasheed Wallace. So no, like Ken said, it's not one moment. The spin move on Brandon Bass in the corner is still crazy. Nobody else can do that. Nobody. I don't care what your name is. Nobody else is doing that. Say the game went on Cleveland after the Chauncey Billups trade. Chicago. Not only did he hit the shot to go to overtime, came back and hit the game winner.
There was like 3 game tires he had, game winners he hit that game.
Him and Derrick Rose were going crazy that game.
Easter Sunday.
Like I said, 60 in Miami, all jump shots, straight hooping, straight bag. 62 in Charlotte.
62 in Charlotte. No rebounds. No steals, no assists.
Yeah, 13 rebounds though.
10 rebounds.
Yeah,
I was supposed to go to that game too. I had one. I'll tell you a quick story. I won tickets. So it was J.R. Smith and Copeland was there. Remember Copeland? He had a little run. He was there. They were doing a thing at a Chase Bank near my crib, and they were asking questions about and then one question was, can you name everybody on the roster that didn't go to college? I raised my hand right quick, and JR looked at me. He was looking. He was like, "You." I was like, "Oh," and then I almost panicked because I'm like, I forgot every name. I was like, "Yo," I was like, and then it was JR. It was Pablo Prigioni. When they had Pablo on the team, Tyson Chandler, and I forgot the 4th. They had another dude. Amari. Yeah, Amari. So I named that, and I won tickets, but I couldn't go to the game because they wouldn't give me off work. I gave it to my boy. I said, go have fun at the game, and that was the game where he went crazy against. I was like, no, I should have just risked my job for this game. Just to say I was in the building.
They would have had to see me on TV.
Yeah, I was on the website and everything. It was dope and all that. But yeah,
they would have to see me at the game.
Yeah,
one score title, and then of course him dunking on Paul Millsap the year after they made the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, that was a turnover too, right? It was a turnover. He got the ball and he just yammed it.
One dribble, bang, all on Paul Millsap. I can name it, but I'm not for the sake of sanity. But I can name a bunch more.
We could name that one. We could with the Garden when he had a little fisticuffs. When he was swinging. My boy was swinging.
Hey, look, to be fair.
With Marty, it was on Marty Collins, bro. Remember Marty Collins from Temple?
Yeah. To be fair,
Temple, right? Yeah.
People, just looking back on it, I think he was shocked that he threw the punch, which is why he backed up, because I don't think he was expecting
Because that was when him and David Stern was like, yo,
Yeah,
we watching you, bro.
I think as soon as he did it, I feel like he had an old shit moment and was like, damn. But you see it on live action, like, oh, he a sucker. Why would he do that? Like, no, he never.
It was a sucker punch. It was a sucker. Because remember, Denver was whooping that ass, and JR and him, they were doing like a dunk fest, like a dunk contest, and JR had that dunk, and then Marty Collins grabbed him. Right? That's what happened, and then Nate Robinson got involved, and then this pushing and shoving, and then you just see Melo, and then Jared Jeffrey. I've never seen a NBA player that mad before, and he just went at like jersey pulled and all that. One of the craziest moments at the Garden, and then like a few years later, he's a Knick, which is kind of crazy. And all
him and Jared Jeffrey's teammates after that, right?
Yeah, and then they teammates after that. And number one was LeBron going back to Cleveland. They played the Knicks. Melo got the better end of that. So everybody's thinking, LeBron's back in Cleveland after 4 years and all the craziness of, Dan Gilbert doing what he did. And then Melo and the Knicks that was Derek Fisher's first year. That was the only highlight of that season for the New York Knicks, because that was that was a bad season and all that. But yeah, shout out to Carmelo Anthony retiring after 19 years. Definitely a Hall of Fame career. I don't think he's going to get his jersey retired anywhere. That's my opinion. 15, obviously, he ain't getting retired in Denver because, that man Jokic has got that wrapped up. And I don't think
retire both of them.
Maybe
do Melo in the
could do that, but I don't think he's gonna give
it.
I don't think New York's gonna retire. They might. I don't see it happen.
I can see it happen because of the name, the challenge he took to go back there. I know they only went to the playoffs. They went to the playoffs twice. He got into that 50-win season, which he had a really good season. Only stopped LeBron from being unanimous MVP. But I think the aura of the name and the connection
that could go. Yeah.
But it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough because it's gonna be tough. But we'll see. But obviously, great career, national champion. What he did in college in just 1 year, legendary. What he did in the pros. We wish we could have had more success as far as getting championships and even getting there. But a legendary career. He will be in the Hall of Fame very soon. But let's talk about the Denver Nuggets. And what a run! What a run! Kind of been under the radar, and they took care of business versus the team we all love to hate in the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we were happy about that, right? As a family, we were happy about that. Then the Suns, right? People were like, "Oh, KD did," and they got people fired after that. There was beef with Matt Ishbia and all that. And all that, and then the Lakers, maybe a matchup that was going to be tough for them, but they took care of it. It was tough for the sweep, but they swept them still, and now they're heading to the NBA Finals. So what do you think has been the key for this Denver Nuggets run for them to get, being underrated team on the season, people kind of down them, to now getting 4 wins away from winning their first ever world championship? Kev?
Jamal Murray's back, and he's back to his best self.
It's that simple, right? It might be that simple.
Like, the Joker gonna do him. You never worry about him. Like, even if he's not scoring, he's gonna make other guys make plays and get easy buckets. And if Jamal's cooking the way that he has been, especially how he was in that game 3, I think when he had 30 in the first half, like
30 in the
you can't do nothing with him. And then on top of that, like, their role players are stepping up to the occasion. Between KCP's been playing his best basketball, in my opinion, of his career. MPJ's finally kind of getting it together. Bruce Brown's been big time off the bench. Like, they just got hoopers, bro, and they all know their roles. They all fit in perfectly. Everything revolves around the Joker. Michael Malone is a hell of a coach. I've been saying that for years. I think we all know that, on this panel. And it's just the right recipe. I think now they're playing their best defense too. Like, Aaron Gordon is probably their best wing defender, and he's been taking on the challenges of D-Book, KD, Bron, whoever's in front of him. You know what I'm saying? So they just a complete team. They're probably the most complete team in the NBA, and I'm glad that they finally getting the respect. I mean, I've never been a big fan of theirs, but I do respect them because they play a great brand of basketball. Like, whether you like them or not, like, I feel like you have to respect them. So honestly, everything's just clicking for them at the right time. And so you got to sit their hat off because, like you said, it was a sweep, but the Lakers did make it kind of competitive every single game. So they didn't fold. They hit all the timely shots. They made all the timely hustle plays. And now they in their first NBA Finals as an organization.
Yeah, I think one thing the Lakers didn't do is when they were up, they didn't just step on the gas more. Because the minute you let Denver get back and make it a close game going into the fourth. That's not what you wanted if you're the Lakers, especially in the last game, game 4. If they wanted to continue the series, they needed to just be up 15-20, and you knew Denver would probably be like, all right, we'll step back and we'll win this at the crib. But at least you live enough to fight another day if you're the Lakers, right? Mm-hmm. And they just let them stay in the game too long, let guys hit big shots. And then listen, they got lucky too, the Nuggets. Like Joker hit some of the shots, and you're just like, all right. If that's gonna happen, like, all right, then there's nothing we can do about that. Like those 2 shots he hit, it was just like crazy and all that. But Ken, well, what do you think is one of the big reasons why you think Denver has made this run to the NBA Finals?
I mean, Jamal and Jokic have just been an elite 1-2 punch throughout their entire run, but it seems like every game they're getting 1 or 2 other guys stepping up. Yeah. Like one night it's Bruce Brown and Aaron Gordon, then another night Michael Porter Jr. stepping up, which is crazy for a team to have gone on this kind of run, and they don't really have depth. Like
no, they don't. They only play 7 deep, right?
7-man rotation. Occasionally, you see Christian Braun for whatever reason, but essentially a 7-man rotation and just running through the Western Conference. It's pretty wild because when you look at the rest of these teams in the playoffs that are left, they're running 8, 9, sometimes 10 guys, and they haven't needed that. Like you look at last night, pretty much all their starters played 40 minutes. Like that's crazy in a game that you technically, like obviously you need it because you need 4 wins to advance, but they could have easily packed it in at halftime and said, you know what, it's fine. We're up 3-1. It's whatever. We'll move on. But yeah, they're just getting contributions from everyone. And I think it goes back to Kev's point. Jokic doesn't have to score. He can have 20. But he'll also have 18 and 15, and that's what's making things easier for everybody else. And if Michael Porter Jr.'s continue to shoot over 40% from 3, then like I don't know who's slowing them down. Like, that's wild shooting for a guy that size, but he's starting to come through as the guy that we knew that he was in college prior to the injury, and teams just let him slip to Denver. And now we're seeing that years down the road of Denver finally gets healthy because Murray was missing the last couple of years. That was always the thing about Jokic. They gave him crap about the playoffs. It's like, well, you didn't have Jamal last year, and Michael Porter Jr. was coming off injuries too. Now they're finally fully healthy. They added some depth, and now we're seeing it now with them being in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, and you said about the depth is like, remember, one of their guys coming off the bench is Jeff Green, who's been in the league since what? He came out Durant draft, right? So 07, right? Yep. Yeah. He's been around for a minute. So those are the one of the guys you're trying to rely on. But one thing before I get to the Hoopers, I feel like the Lakers they should have been the ones who are using more of their depth. Vandy just stopped playing Vando. Like I feel like that could have helped more. But I know he's offensively challenged, but that's a big body. You know, I forget about Mo Bamba. I know that wasn't gonna happen, but maybe getting Beasley, getting his confidence go. We know he's streaky, but maybe if he gets going, that's another perimeter player, right? It just felt like they didn't trust those dudes, and that's why LeBron is so tired and the gas. That just, they relied so heavy on their starters too, but their bench only played. I'm looking at the last game. Their bench only played like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. And that's including D'Lo, who hasn't give you anything and all that. And Tristan
he gave more quality minutes than anyone off of our bench.
I'm going to give him some respect because when
it was wild. I couldn't believe that we were running him.
But they said that Darvin Ham looked at the benches looking like Vando. Okay. No, not you. Not you, Mo. No, definitely. Mo, you trash. Tristan,
the balls on Darvin Ham last night. He ran a rotation to start the fourth where he had Lonnie Walker, D'Angelo Russell, and Tristan Thompson in the game. I'm sitting there like, what?
Rookie.
I'm like, we're trailing. What are we doing? Are we packing it in? Like, is this where it's getting?
Tristan Thompson. He even did the halftime interview. Like, Braun, I got this. Yeah. So Lisa, we're gonna, just gonna keep boxing. I'm like, bro, they got him doing a halftime interview too. Like, that's how I knew. I was like, oh man, they in trouble. But Tristan Thompson was, listen, he came ready. He bring his shoes. He was doing something because the other guys that they had, the other bigs they had, weren't doing much. So we had a Tristan Thompson minutes in this playoffs, but fresh Denver. What's been the key to this run to the finals?
Oh, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. is quiet as kept. Has been really solid defensively.
Both ends, yes,
this
defensively
round,
too. Yep.
I expect him to knock down shots. I'm not worried about that. I'm more surprised.
He's not afraid to take it too. He's had that confidence since high school.
He gonna let it fly. But I think his closeouts are great. He had a couple blocks on some jump shots.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do the thing where he gets lazy and he just loses his man, back cuts, stuff like that. So
yeah, that's what used to hurt him.
Yeah, that hurts him a lot because he don't play defense or whatnot. We decided to play defense. Jamal Murray decided to do his best version of whoever name you could think of as an all-time great. Like Jamal Murray is probably one of the best shot makers in the NBA outside of like the top guys for real. Like I don't know, like the shots he makes, especially off the dribble in the mid-range, as soon as he makes, it's like he's not missing those. Spin, the one dribble, step back, fade away. Any shot in the mid-range, he's not missing those shots. Like as soon as it go up, like he's not missing it. Aaron Gordon, who 2 years ago I said he was good defensively for this team, but even just the way Mike Malone uses him offensively as a more that's not fair to say, as a better offensive version of Draymond Green, because he's a better shooter, he's a better ball handler. You put him in those spots where he can get some of those dribble handoff, and now he can kind of just roam on offense, and now he done dunked on you 3 times, you ain't even realize it. Whereas in Orlando, they expected him to be a main option. Yeah,
exactly. They wanted him to be the guy. They thought he was gonna be Blake Griffin.
He
just wasn't his game, and he wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, but I think the real key is, which also doesn't get talked about, is Mike Malone. Well, not Mike Malone himself, but Mike Malone and what he's done offensively for this team.
Yeah,
there's any possession anybody can bring the ball up. I know we're big on Jokic doing it because he's a 7-foot center. I know we're big on Jamal Murray doing it because you don't know if he's going to hit you. You never know when Jamal Murray is going to score. But there was times Bruce Bowen gets to initiate the offense, KCP, Michael Porter, Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon. Everybody gets the chance to start the offense, so you never know where it's coming from. So now you do get more open shots, jump shots, layups, or whatever, more one-on-one opportunities for your players as well. So Mike Malone has been really good offensively, strategically as a coach in this postseason, and especially in this Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, he brought them a lot like the Warriors, especially those earlier teams like that. But I'm gonna mainly just give most of the credit to Mike Malone and how he puts everybody in position to do. Everybody other than Jokic and Jamal Murray, maybe Jamal Murray a little bit, they're all sacrificing something. But Malone still puts them in the best position to do what they do. Like Michael go with the under on assist. Porter is out there to score, but he runs actions for him to shoot the ball and be effective in that way. KCP is out there to shoot, defend, but he can still be aggressive, like you say, initiating the offense. Bruce Brown, I'm sure people didn't think he could do anything other than stand in the corner if you watched him in Brooklyn. And, he's doing a little bit of everything for them. So, like Ken said, to be running with a solid 7-man rotation, but everybody's doing what they're doing to the elite level and they're connected. I think that's Mike Malone keeping them all prepared and letting everybody be themselves. Telling everybody you got to sacrifice a little bit, but we still going to put you in a position to do. Michael Porter, you want to score, we're going to let you shoot. You just got to be efficient. Jamal want to handle the ball, you can handle it. Jokic just passing and shooting off one leg, we're going to run the offense through him. So that's Mike Malone being a great leader of men, honestly.
Yeah, and when you have a team with multiple ball handlers and you don't know where, how the offense is going to be set because there's a different guy bringing the ball up, that's hard as a defense to set up. And that's kind of why you saw the Lakers just have AD just being a roamer. It was like, we don't know who's going to bring the ball up. You just got to be we're just going to start roving. And that kind of was the difference in all that. And Michael Malone has been tremendous and all that with that. And that's why I always say with teams, like, you can never have enough ball handlers on your team. The more the merrier, because then you could do more offensively. You could trick the defense more. And that's what it's about. It's about, these X's and O's games, and Michael Malone has figured it out. And you got to give him credit for that. And but Nikola, and I know we still gotta see who they're gonna play. They're probably gonna play Miami. Let's just keep it real. But like Ken, our fellow Lakers fan, he still believed in Lakers in 7. So we're still gonna Boston fans make them believe and all that. But do you think
Miami in 4?
Knicks in 5. Knicks in 5 next year. Knicks in 5. I guarantee it. But for Nikola, do you think it? And I don't know where you guys have him ranked, but you think if he gets it done, that he's top 10 center of all time?
Yeah.
Top
I think he
10.
already is.
Or you think he's already in there? Think he's in there already?
MVPs.
Like just center, right?
Yeah, we're talking about centers.
Oh yeah, top 10 center.
Centers, yeah. Not all time players, just centers.
He's in there already, bro.
Yeah,
He's in there already.
top 10. I would have to say yeah.
If he gets the ring, he's damn near pushing top 5. But
Yeah, right. Like I was trying to run some names.
He's
in my
at
head
7
real
and
quick.
8 right now with the opportunity to move up to like 5.
'Cause,
Exactly.
Like
A ring
just
gets him top 5.
like Shaq,
Back-to-back
Bill Russell,
MVPs.
Kareem, Wilt.
Top 5 is tough, but it's
All right, no,
simple.
don't answer because that's going to be the next segment because we're going to do a fun segment next.
Top
But
5 is
I just wanted you off the top of your head if you think he's top 10 if he gets it done, or if he's currently top 10 as is.
he's sitting in top 10. He's damn near top 5.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with Ken.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go out east, and then we're gonna do our little segment. But the Boston Celtics, obviously, like we said, Miami. Whether they win in 4 or 5, it's a wrap, right? Miami. What the? It's simple. I'm a simple question. What the hell happened to Boston? Like I've heard people say, well, and we saw on Twitter and like in the news that they still haven't gotten over, Ime getting fired. But that was in September. Like you guys, this team was rolling. Tatum was an MVP, the front runner for MVP, right? At one point, he was front runner and all that. So I don't want to hear that noise anymore. Teammates don't like each other suddenly no more. Like, you're hearing all this. Is it simply because Jimmy just took the soul out of? Like, what the hell happened? Simply, like, what happened? Ken, what happened to the Boston Celtics that they're down 3-0, lose the first 2 at home? We don't see that a lot. Right, especially with a good team like Boston, you don't see them lose the first 2 at the crib. They lost the first 2 at the crib that they maybe should have won at least one of them. So, what do you think happened to this Boston team that they're on the verge of getting swept?
I don't want to put like the game 1 and 2 loss on one particular player because at the end of the day, like it was an all-out team effort down the stretch why they lost, but. Yeah. Why Boston decided to not let Jason Tatum try and close out those games sooner is beyond me, because I'm watching game 1 and there's 6 minutes to go and there is minutes going by where Jason Tatum is not touching the basketball. And part of that comes down to coaching. Part of that comes down to just Jaylen Brown trying to create. And I get it. Like, he's an all NBA guy. Like he should have the opportunity to go and create his own shot. But the guy that got you there has been Jason Tatum. He was number 4 in MVP voting this year, and he's not touching the basketball for multiple minutes in the fourth quarter when you need him to. And Miami smelled it, and they pounced, and they've done it all postseason. They did it down the stretch in that Milwaukee series. Like, Giannis wasn't touching the ball for minutes at a time, or when he was, they were doubling and forcing someone else to go and beat them. And all the credit in the world to Spoelstra. I mean, they've done a great job of covering both those guys throughout this series, and now they should have got one of those games. Like, in 100%. Your crib and you're leading down the stretch, you have to close those out. And a team like Miami, you have to put them away. They're not going to give you that, and they just quite simply haven't done that, and that's why they find themselves down 3-0. And now we're just hearing all these other things that internally we weren't hearing a couple weeks ago. They were on a high after that game 7 when Philly quit on them, but now suddenly they face a little bit of adversity, and now they're not over Udoka. Okay,
it's like that Wolverine meme where they have he has the picture, and people like that's what it is. Like the whole team has a picture of Ime Udoka, just like it's like I don't want to hear that excuse. No, like he has been gone for a minute.
You got to the conference finals without him,
exactly. Now you want to fire the coach. You want to. JB has been on his feelings for the last, the year and all that. Like, and what's going on with that? We getting too much deuce. That's the only good thing about this. If we're gonna get less deuce on TV, so that's a beautiful thing. We don't need to see too much deuce. He gets his own segments. It's too much deuce, and that's probably why they're losing too. Too much deuce. But Hoopers, what the hell? What happened to Boston?
Yeah, I want to start by giving credit. You got to give credit to Miami first. How locked in they are. They just, they led by one of the best in the business in Spoelstra, one of the best leaders in Jimmy. But to Boston, I'm honestly not even surprised. This is the same inconsistent Boston team that we've seen the last. They've been up and down every year. Remember last year they were terrible and they just got really good. I guess they just decided to do it in reverse.
Once the new year turned, once the new year turned, they flipped it and they became the best team in the NBA until they lost in the finals.
So it's just like weird. Like Ken says, you have, Jason Tatum has gotten you to this point, 50 in that game 7, and you are just going away from that. And with him not touching the ball for minutes, I got to kind of lean on the point that Dub has made a lot of them not having a true point guard. It's like, hey, give this man the ball. That's what you, Dub, has said a whole lot. And you see it in these fourth quarters where you just can't even get your star player the ball to, close the game.
Let's just say Marcus Smart. You can't rely on Marcus Smart
Not
to
it.
be your prime.
Not it.
He'll be doing. He's
done.
done.
Brogdon and Derek White will help. But Derek White, he like
Where
played
is he?
great in the first round, and I haven't heard his name since.
We haven't seen him. He's been MIA and all that. Like they relied on him. He's helped them win some big games, big series, and he's kind of been like then Brogdon. Like he's not the traditional point guard, but you probably expected more of him as a playmaker a little bit. But you have 3 guards that aren't, playmakers. Essentially, they're scorers.
Crazy.
And when Marcus Smart, you don't even want him scoring because he's just going to do way too much shit that's just going to mess up the flow and all that. And then sometimes he's taking shots where you're like, why isn't Tatum in big games? Like, why doesn't Tatum have the ball? Or JB at least, or even I'd rather Horford have a shot than you. I feel like that's hurt them a lot of times, and I feel it's going to come down to, do they make a big move because they're so close to being NBA champions.
Right.
This close, but yet they're also close to falling back to the pack and being a 5th seed and then being a 7th seed and just keep taking that, like with, your Hawks, they go from conference finals and that happens. And then that's hard to get back to going back to the conference finals again. Like, so that's tough. So like, Kev, do you think they have to make a move? Do they have to make a drastic move to get another better co-star with, because Tatum's the guy. Let's just keep it real. Tatum is the face of the franchise. That's his team. So we know JB's been a little bit in his feelings and all that. He probably thinks he's better than what he's be able to show and all that he could be a number 1. So do you think they have to make a move like that? Is it with all the coaches available, they got to get rid of Mazzulla and have a 4th coach in 4 years? What move, like, what do you think needs to happen for Boston?
Dub, you want to go?
No, you go. You can kill it. I said I go after you. You can kill it. Go ahead.
All right. So to me, it's multiple things. I'm not gonna lie. I think the first thing is that they're tired of playing with each other, bro. Like,
it's obvious too.
Like, bro, they've been together since Tatum got drafted, 2017? So they've been together for 6 years, essentially, damn near 7. That's a lot of time together, bro. Like, championship window teams don't last that long. Usually, most organizations, they shaking up and they trading somebody like 3 years in, 4 years in, right? So they've been together for too long. Marcus Smart's been there for a decade, damn near already, which is crazy as hell to think about.
Crazy to think. Yeah, he's been there for a minute.
And I agree with the Hoopers, bro. I've been saying that point guard problem is the biggest issue with them, bro, because if you have a point guard, you have somebody that can balance out who gets the shots, bro. Like, game 1, it was crazy. I was so angry because Marcus Smart had 10 assists in the first half. He was looking like Steve Nash. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then second half, I knew it was a wrap. Like, he would never do that again. And, like, you need somebody to settle the offense down and understand when it's time to get Jason the Rock and when it's time to get Jalen the Rock. And they don't have that. It's like, it's hot potato basketball. Like, that's not a good brand of basketball whatsoever. And when they're not shooting, it's playmaking based off them to Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White and whoever, right? So that's the biggest issue. And that was the second biggest issue. With Mazzulla, like, it's hard to really blame him. Like, he does deserve some blame, honestly, but he also got thrown into a terrible situation, dog. Like he was literally at the last second. The Ime thing happened right before the season started, bro. Like a month or 2 months before the season started.
He was Will Hardy would have most likely would have been the coach.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Will Hardy dipped, so he was like third, fourth in line if there was a high, an order. Yeah. So like he wasn't ready. He probably definitely wasn't ready, but he got forced into the situation because they're like, oh, we need a coach. So you're it.
And with that, Jalen looks like he's halfway out the door, right? Yeah. The bigger issue is that, as you said, if they go to a fourth coach in 4 years, it's not a good. Bro, what is Tatum gonna be thinking in his head? He gonna be like, damn, we're unstable right now. Like I might have to get up out of here too because I'm not trying to deal with this. And even then, if you trade Jalen, like it's more of a chance that you downgrade as a contender than you upgrade. If we keeping it a bean, so to me, bro, like I just think it's run its course, bro. Al Horford might be done. I hate to even say this, but Time Lord's knees might not have that much durability left in his career because he don't even look the same, and that's been the biggest thing too. The defense does not hit whatsoever. That's why I was not concerned with playing them because last year the defense was legit. Like all 4 teams in the conference finals last year, defense was clamps. This year it don't hit the same whatsoever. So I'm just like, I don't know, bro. If I'm Brad Stevens, like again, you have to contemplate firing Mazzulla, but that wouldn't be my first move. I think you got to trade Jaylen Brown, figure it out, and then go from there. Because right now, they just tired of playing with each other, bro. That's how it looks, bro. The way that Marcus Smart is playing. The way that JT is playing, like he don't even care to get to the rack. He just putting up threes. Like even Jaylen Brown, like it was a play where they ran the play for Jason Tatum. We blew it up. They would come off a screen at the top of the 3-point line. Jaylen Brown looked at him. He said, nah, and he put a deep 3 on Jimmy and bricked it. I'm like, bro, is this what we doing right now? I was like, they're not even trying to play. Like, that's why it's hard for me to blame Mazzulla because it's like, bro, I seen it the other day. They said Tatum didn't play. Tonight will be his 90th playoff game, and then tonight will be Jaylen Brown's 101st playoff game. So that means, bro, they've been here and done that. You're down 0-2 in the conference finals. For y'all to have that type of energy in the game 3 situation, it's inexcusable, bro. You can blame Mazzulla, but that's on the players too, bro, because they've been here before. So they got to get rid of that team, bro. It's a wrap for this team. And I'm glad that we were the ones to do it too. I ain't gonna lie.
You guys, Miami just getting everybody fired. They got ODC. Here, they got Bud fired. Bud, he lost his damn brother, and they still fired him. They're like, nah, Jimmy just nah.
RIP, man.
The Knicks, you got our fans going crazy, killing Julius Randle posters.
Bro, in the last 3 years, we got Nate McMillan fired from 2 different places, bro.
Yo, you did. You did. I forgot.
I hate to say that.
Jimmy's a legend just off that. But Dub, what are you feeling about Boston?
Man, a mix of what everybody said, like Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I ain't gonna lie, I was on the train of not trading them, but I figured you trade Marcus Smart at some point to get a real point guard. But just break it up at this point, because at some point you just have to completely build around Jason Tatum and what he does best. Like it's cool to have a number 2 that could challenge for that, but sometimes less is more. Like go fill the team out, go get a traditional looking roster, because I don't think it's been noticed. But when they tried to get into this position list, and Boston was first, guard, 2 wings, 2 bigs, or whatever, how they was gonna do it. None of those teams win championships. Houston, nobody. You can name the Clippers. You can name plenty of teams like that. But we see the teams still go traditional 5, traditional point, traditional 2. Your 3 and 4 might be interchangeable, but everybody else on the court is a traditional player. The skill set is just different. Or not even that. You're just allowed to do more things with your skill set. Mm-hmm. Like Jokic 10 years ago wouldn't be Jokic because they wouldn't allow him to do it. Not because he couldn't, but they wouldn't allow it. Boston needs to get away from that. Al Horford, it was time for him to go 2 years ago. I'm not going to lie. I hate it, but yeah, Robert Williams just can't. He's just not healthy. Like, he wasn't even healthy last year in the playoffs for real.
Nah.
But I don't blame. It's hard to say I don't blame Joe Mazzulla though, because as the head coach, sometimes you just gotta just like, just give him the ball. And I start benching dudes. I know that shit sound crazy, but Marcus Smart don't want to do it. Malcolm Brogdon, you better do it. Malcolm Brogdon, you ain't gonna do it. Jason Tatum, you just gonna be the point guard, and we figure it out with the other 4 players on the court. Like
point Tatum, yeah.
Especially not against Jimmy, who gonna see that, and he's not gonna let you get Jason Tatum the ball. So maybe that's what it is. Jimmy ain't letting him get the ball.
Yeah,
I see something interesting. and we always get on Giannis about this before I get out of here nowadays, that he never takes that challenge, especially when it comes to Jimmy in Miami.
Just guarding up. Yeah.
Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum tried to take that challenge
One of
offensively
them.
or defensively. Like, I get it, man. Jimmy is a grade A alpha dog. I don't even like using that, but Jimmy's an alpha. He got these dudes scared for real, and you can see it. Like,
It's that simple.
yeah.
I think it's just what you said. Jimmy got the dog in them. Boston don't got no dogs
at all.
and it's just that simple.
Puppies.
And it's infectious because if Jimmy got that, it's just gonna wrap. You see how Gabe Vincent rocks and how Max Strus is. You know, they got Duncan Robinson believing in himself again. You know, Bam is playing at a different level. That's just infectious. And when you don't got that dog on your team, you're not gonna feel it. Because I guarantee if you flip Jason Tatum and Jimmy, I guarantee you're gonna see more fired up Jaylen Brown.
Absolutely.
And all that. You're gonna see more guys fired up. They just don't have it. I think it's just that simple. If you got two stars like that, and one of them don't got that, that's what we're seeing with the Clippers. With their big two. They don't got the dog in them like that. Now Kawhi could have, but you know, their dogs are hurt. You know, they're hurting and all that, but you don't got that. It's gonna be tough. And that's why Miami is a freaking 8 seed and they're about one away from going to the finals. You know, so Boston got to figure out some stuff. Mazzulla, maybe he's not ready to be a head coach, but they entrusted him with it. They gave him the full time. They could have waited. They could have just gave him the interim tag and just said, "You will see how the season ends, and then we'll go about, if you're going to be the full time." They could have easily done that because now they see all these coaches. Oh man, look at Nick Nurse is there, Monty Williams is there, Bud is there. You know, man, we should pounce on that. And then you're gonna have a fourth coach, like you said, Kev. Now you got 4 coaches in 4 years, and now you got to make Tatum happy because he's gonna be like, what's going on here? Are we spiraling down? They got a lot to figure out in there. So
not to mention, they got 2 big bags on the table. So
$650 million for 2 players.
Let's start making some decisions.
And with all the new tax rules and all that kind of penalize teams that are trying to win, that a lot of these owners are going to be like, no, we haven't won a championship. At least with like the Warriors, they're like, all right, we've won rings and we can run it back and win the ring next year because we got Steph and we still got our guys. So if you're the Celtics, it's like, all right, we keep getting to the conference finals and losing, or we got to one finals and we lose. Like, we just keep repeating the same stuff. Like, you're not giving me championships. Like, what's up? So they got to figure out some things because it could get ugly. It could get ugly. You know how it is in the NBA. You could be in the conference finals one year, and the next year you ain't in the playoffs. So it happens. It comes at you real fast. So they got to figure that out. But I was going to talk about the Rockets, but we could say that for another time. We got the games going on. But last segment, this is a Would You Rather segment. This is the Jokic and Jimmy Butler edition. So we'll go around the horn. We'll start from Fresh and Dub. We'll go to Kev and we'll go to Ken. So this is a Would You Rather segment. So I'm going to start with the Joker first. So would you rather Jokic or Patrick Ewing?
I'm going Joker.
Jokic.
Jokic with the clean sweep. I love you, Pat. I'm gonna get some heat.
You did that to yourself right out of the gate. That's tough.
I'm gonna go with the Joker.
Pat up, man.
Yeah, Pat's had a rough season. He's had a rough year, But all right, the Joker or David Robinson?
I'm gonna go Joker. That was kind of tough for me though, but I'm gonna go Joker. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Joker.
Joker. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one is tough. I'm gonna lean Joker though, just because I think by the time he's done, he'll be better for sure.
Yeah.
But right now, it's
okay.
If we're talking today, David Robinson.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go. Man, the Admiral was a dog, but I'm gonna go with Nicola. I'm going with the Joker. All right, the Joker or Hakeem Olajuwon?
Hakeem.
dream shape.
Hakeem.
Clean sweep going with Hakeem the Dream. I think he's probably the greatest center of all time. So, all right, last one. The Joker or Bill Russell?
Get Bill out of here. Could have been a.
Hack him. Sorry, rest in peace.
Oh
I was waiting on that.
You know I had that cooked up. You know I had that.
I had a
cooked up.
feeling he was too.
I was waiting on it. You know,
I'm
you're
going
joking.
Bill, man. Shout out to the
Oh, Bill. Oh, come on, you doing it fresh.
Shout out to the Sixers.
Give me Jack Sigma over Bill Russell.
Yeah, I got Joker.
We got Joker. Ken, who
I'm
you
going
got?
Joker, bro.
You
Joker's
going
abusing
Joker?
me.
Ken?
Bill Russell.
Barbecue chicken, bro. Barbecue chicken. It's not even, Nicole's not even, he's going to go to his brothers and just be like, what is this?
I'm not doing that this year.
What is this?
Hey,
What is
Talk
this?
to me in 2024.
What
I'm
is
not
this?
going
What
there
is
yet.
this?
Dog,
Bill
yeah.
Russell, top 5, my ass.
You have a long day gone, that man.
Going with Joker. All right. So we're going to go to the Jimmy edition.
RIP the Six.
R.I.P. Mr. Bill Russell. No disrespect, but you.
Surely. All right, yeah, my bad.
You just said Jack Sigma over Bill Russell and then just said no disrespect.
Jack
What are we doing
Jack
here?
Sigma was 7-time All-Star, man.
You 100% meant disrespect. You would have put him on the list.
You're right. I'm leaving it alone. You're right.
Don't read the chat. Bill Russell do not read the chat.
No, yeah, I say something about it later.
I've never said that you were Clint Capella. I've never said that. All right, let's go to Jimmy Butler edition. All right. Would you rather Jimmy Butler, Tracy McGrady?
Jimmy Butler.
I'm going Jimmy.
Jimmy.
I'm going Jimmy. He's better in the playoffs.
Jimmy.
Better leader in the playoffs, I'll say.
Jimmy.
This is
Mo doesn't even think he's a Hall of Famer.
Mo
so it's
doesn't
gotta
think
be
he's a Hall of
Jimmy, right?
Famer.
I watched Tracy McGrady, so that's the only reason why I think he's a Hall of Fame. But if I just looked at his resume, I would.
Yeah, resume.
If you look at the play, I guess you got to go Jimmy with the playoffs is where it matters most. And like T-Mac, he was compared to him and Kobe at one point, but he never got it done on his prime. So I guess I'm going to go Jimmy. All right, Jimmy or Vince Carter?
These are good. I ain't gonna lie.
I'll go Jimmy. I go Jimmy. I remember a stretch where Vince wasn't reliable. I'll go Jimmy.
Yeah, he had those moments.
Damn, that just made me think. It's so hard to rank Jimmy because you have to count the regular season too.
You do.
And like, I go Jimmy though. I don't even want to I go on that on one of our episodes. I go Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm going with Hemi buckets, man. Vince was like that, but I don't know, like Jimmy, bro.
Vince quit on Canada, but I quit on Canada all the time. So give me Vince.
Quit on a whole country, bro.
He quit on that whole damn country.
It's one thing like quit on like Memphis, like it's like all right, whatever. They
You
don't
couldn't
Tennessee
do
don't
that
like
up
me,
here.
but like the whole country, they just lost Vancouver. Like he just quit on them. So yeah, I'm going to go
He
Jimmy.
quit and went in division and came back and just started spitting.
He went to Brooklyn. No, he went to Jersey when he was in Jersey. Yeah. I'm gonna go. If I'm gonna pick him over Tracy, I gotta pick him over Vince too. So I'm gonna go Jimmy. All right, Jimmy or Ray Allen.
That's tough for me. I'm going Ray. Nah, I'll take it back. I'm going Jimmy.
I'm going Ray.
I'll take it back. I'm going Jimmy.
Jesus Shuttlesworth.
I'm going Jimmy.
I'll go Ray.
That one's tough as hell, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna give Ray the edge right now, though. I'll give
Ray the edge right now as well.
I'm going with Jesus Shuttlesworth. He got game alone, so I'm going with Jesus Shuttlesworth. All right, last one. Jimmy or Manu Ginobili.
I speak for everyone. Jimmy Butler.
I love Manu too, but yeah, give me Jimmy, dog.
I can respect the Ginobili pick. I got Jimmy though.
Yeah, I'm going with Hemi buckets, man.
Jimmy.
For some reason, I thought you was gonna say Kawhi, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Nah.
Yeah, you were tossing shade with the last one, so I figured it was going to be Kawhi in there.
Yeah.
Nah, Manu. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jimmy over Manu. So, all right, that's our Would You Rather Have segment. You know, Nicola and Jimmy Butler edition. But that's gonna end it for another episode of the Off the Ball podcast. I appreciate you, gentlemen. right before tip off, joining me for this show. So before we sign off, tell the people where they can find you if you got any projects coming up. The Hoopers, you go first.
It's always good to get together with you fellas and talk basketball. Shout out to the Off the Ball Network. Of course, we anywhere you can find podcasts. Just search the Hoopers Pod. Check out the YouTube. Subscribe to the Hoopers Pod. Twitter is ran by this guy at Hoopers Pod. Everything Hoopers Pod. Do your Googles.
Kevo?
Yeah, man, I'm on social media, Kevo Mufasa7, KEVOOMUFASA7. I got the Get a Bucket, of course. Shout out to everybody off the ball. As always, salute. Kevo Bands Hoops Podcast. I might put out some articles recently. We'll see, but shout out to y'all, man.
Yep. Ken?
You can catch my show Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Should be live tomorrow morning before I take off for work for the week. So, Chris, appreciate you setting this up. Always great getting to chat with Hoopers and Kev and you. So, appreciate you and Off the Ball Network.
Yes, sir. You can follow me Off the Ball Pod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel Off the Ball Network. Give us a like, give us a comment, show us some love. We got make sure to check out offtheballnetwork.com, OTB_network on Twitter. We got some great content. Omar killing it, Nick killing it. We got a lot of great stuff, articles coming up. I got a NBA draft stuff coming up soon. I just wrote down my mock draft. I'm about to put it up on the website. So check that out in the next coming days and do some shows on that. Make sure to check out Get a Bucket Podcast. Subscribe to that on all your podcast platforms. Me and Kev going to be cooking up something up real soon. But on that note, be well, be safe, take care. Peace out.